It's a long story. I'll try to make it as short as I can. My name is David Miles, and I am the curator at the Charlevoix Historical Society in Charlevoix, Michigan. One of my main jobs is to look over and keep up to date our astonishing historical collection of photos and documents. I was born and raised in Charlevoix in 1940. I came into this world. My father was the local photographer, Bob Miles, so I sort of had a heads up on what Charlevoix was all about from the commercial work that he did, but also the fact that in 1957 he became the town's official historian. So I had it in my blood, the confidence of being able to do it. I graduated the University of Michigan in 1963 with 2 degrees, a bachelor's and a master's the same year in English. But I was really at loose ends of myself, really wanting to know what I'm going to do with my life. I'm one of these people who is filled with curiosity. I have to know things. So I headed for Europe just to get it out of my system. So 20 countries, including Israel, it's the best thing I ever could have done for myself. I started working for the Historical Society in 1997, and I filled the seats that my parents had both had on the board of directors. And my father had written a book on Charlevoix that came out in 1976 called Bob Miles Charlevoix. And in 98, one of the board members said to me, "We've been talking amongst ourselves, and we think it's time we put out an updated edition. How would you like to give it a try?" I had no idea how to write a book. So I said, well, I'm finding all these interesting things in the files here, and I'm telling you about them. So let me get started. I'll make a plan. Well, lo and behold, 3.5 years later, we had a book called Bob Miles Charlevoix 2. The book sold 2,700 copies over 2 printings, and in 2008, we started writing monographs on the various chapters of the book. The piers and the lights, the hotels, etc., etc., etc. And those came out 1 year after another. And that is what put a nice financial cushion for the first time underneath the Historical Society. Now, modesty being so overrated, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this. In 2011, I was given the Margaret Dewar Award by the library here in Charlevoix. 2 years later, we were approached by a documentarian team to co-produce a production on Earl Young, our famous builder in stone. So we signed on as co-producers. Filming and production took 2 years. It was shown at the local theater in 2015, red carpet premiere and etc. Shown on Michigan Public Television in 2016, and in 2017, we won an Emmy. When I did a bragging rights program a few years ago, I put together a composite that would come up on the screen of 23 Time magazine covers of people who had been in Charlevoix for one reason or another. 1951 graduate of Charlevoix High School, Chuck Fairbanks, went on to become the head coach of the New England Patriot. I was patted on the head at age 7 by Mr. Olds, the founder of Oldsmobile Ransom Olds, the famous author Booth Tarkington, Barry Goldwater, Adlai Stevenson, Elliot Ness, the Untouchable himself, William Tallman, who was on the Perry Mason Show. Just at Scobie's restaurant itself, Tom Selleck, Tim Allen, Madonna. At the Grey Gables, Esther Williams, the aquatic superstar of MGM, Bo Derek, Christopher Reeve, Jane Seymour. It goes into the hundreds of people who have been here. It's just simply amazing. It's just one bit of discovery after another every single day. Charlevoix has a history that will not quit.